to South Africa, for example, and they will get richer here in South Africa. And here in South Africa, there's a lot of people that may say, look, the people get rich in South Africa because they get into crime, wealth of that country benefit America. And you are out of your damn mind as you are ignorant and stupid to think that America wouldn't bomb South Africa if they realize that they are losing the grip of a little bit of the power that they have in Africa, because the government of South Africa wants to claim that in order for Starlink to operate in South Africa, it has to be owned by 30% of previously underprivileged people of the country. That is bullshit. That is bullshit. We all know that the only reason they are saying that is because they want to eat. It's bullshit. How's it going, y'all? Hey, much appreciated for everyone who's been very patient with me, because I haven't posted in almost a month now. And of course, I want to talk about the reasons why I haven't been posting in a while. But let's get into this video. I'm going really long form nowadays, and you just have to be patient, pay attention to everything that we're talking about, because making it into short snippet videos, I don't really get to take all my thoughts out. So I just decided, let me go podcast form and let's just see how it goes. And really what I'm talking about mostly in this video, got my trusty list on my computer. I got a computer now, so my YouTube videos will be edited on a computer, no longer on the phone that I'm still currently shooting with, unfortunately. So what I want to talk about is the reason most immigrants immigrate to South Africa. The phone doesn't look that straight. Let me fix that. Much better. Okay, so the reason I think and also have seen most people will move to South Africa is because South Africa is a developed country. So if you look at a country like America, for example, where a lot of people will immigrate to that country because they are looking to build a better life, they are looking to escape war from their own countries, they are seeking asylum, and they go to countries like America, is because when they go to these kinds of countries, they're going to find better opportunities. Hence, the American dream. And the American dream exists not only for American citizens, it also exists for American immigrants, people that will move to that country. And you got people from Mexico moving to America, you got people from India, people from Asia, you got people from Africa. There's a lot of Nigerians in America, for example. There's South Africans in America. The same applies to Britain. All these developed countries, people will immigrate to these countries because they're seeking better opportunities, whether that be in getting a job because they have a skill that they have learned in their own country, but they can't find employment opportunities in that country, they move to these developed countries. Whether they want to go start a business in that country is probably because the business that they want to start will likely be more successful in that country, so they move to that country. Other reasons include things such as war happening in their own countries, and they're looking for a better country to move to. You can't, as an immigrant, move from a country that has war or is run by a criminal state and go on to move to a country that doesn't have the infrastructure to help you uproot yourself from the kind of poverty that you come from in your own home country. So people move to South Africa with this kind of thinking as well. They move to South Africa with this kind of approach as well. And a lot of these people are coming here seeking asylum. Some come in legally, some come in illegally. And a lot do come in legally, but there's also a lot that move in illegally here in the country. This is where you'll find somebody from Somalia having a name like Tabo. Tabo means happiness, and it's a Setswana, Sotho, or Pedi word for happiness. And obviously, the word for happiness in Somalia or Ethiopia will be something different. So how is it that somebody from Ethiopia will have the name Tabo Mokwena? Mokwena is crocodile, or you could also say alligator. An Ethiopian with a South African name and a South African surname and a South African ID, green ID, nowadays we use cards. And they get them illegally, and that is because there's a lot of corruption that happens in the country, which of course is something that we're going to talk about again in this video. But as the introduction, I really just want to focus on the fact that many people move here to South Africa seeking for opportunities. And the trend for people moving to countries where they are seeking for opportunities seems that these people get to these countries and they become very successful. They become more successful than the citizens and the residents of that country. And this is true in many of the other developed countries where immigrants move to those countries. And here in Africa, a lot of people who are watching right now, they may think that I'm talking about other African immigrants, but if you are a South African resident, you know very well that the local retail space is dominated by Arab foreigners as well as the Somalians and the Ethiopians, which I really don't complain because I want to collaborate with these people, and I'll show you why in a minute. But these people dominate the retail space, and the reason they dominate the retail space is because they have essentially mastered it, and they have mastered it not when they moved to the country, they mastered it from the countries that they come from. Imagine this: you come from a country where the economy is in shambles, there's wars, things are expensive, and you have to sell things very expensive. You have to teach yourself to live below your means on the bare minimum. You move to a country like South Africa, you move to a country like Canada, Australia, Britain, America. You get to that country and you open a retail store and you are able to live in that retail store, or if it's a retail store in a building and you are able to live upstairs from that retail store because it makes things cheaper for you not to travel to the store. And there you are making sales with the little that you do get. You are able to save more money because you know how to not use too much money. You know how to live on the bare minimum, and you know how to save up, right? So these people will move to South Africa, for example, and they will get richer here in South Africa. And here in South Africa, there's a lot of people that may say, look, the people get rich in South Africa because they get into crime, they get into corrupt things. That is true. But then it is also true that there's people who get rich legally here in South Africa, whether they are illegally in South Africa or not. The things that they are involved in, their daily activities that get them rich are legal activities. And I'm going to focus specifically on businesses mostly because this is what I talk about on this channel, which is mostly entrepreneurship and entrepreneurs mindset. So they come with the mindset that they come from a country that is in shambles, they have escaped poverty, and they are in a land of opportunity. And now that they are in the land of opportunity, they are not going to waste it. And of course, there are those who do waste that opportunity, but the exception is not the majority. The majority rules, and the majority of immigrants, legal or illegal, when they get to the country, they ensure that they get wealthy by any means necessary. They may start a business in the drugs side of things and become drug dealers. They may start it in selling stolen cars and those other kinds of stuff. But these people, when they move to the country, they are here to ensure that they do better for themselves and they do better for their families. And you see it. A lot of Nigerians here in South Africa are very, very wealthy. And if you are in the dating scene a lot, you will see that South African girls like Nigerian dudes because Nigerian dudes like to spend. And this is where I think it comes from. I've seen videos of Nigerian weddings. When you are at a Nigerian wedding, people come with stacks of money. And as a form of congratulating you, sometimes even as a form of just celebrating you, your birthday, they will be just throwing money at you. This is in them. It's in their culture, right? So when they get to a country like South Africa where they can be able to make more money, if you take 2,000 rands and turn it into 20 rands and you throw it on somebody, it's like you've thrown a lot of money at someone. And this is a form of appreciation for their friends, for their wives, for their girlfriends, weddings, stuff like that. So when you experience something like this, as a South African woman, for example, you don't get to experience this with South African men. You find it that you will prefer Nigerian men. But listen, Nigerians are not the only immigrants in South Africa. There's people from Malawi, there's people from Bangladesh, there's people from Italy, there's people from France, there's people from Australia, there's people from many kinds of countries. We just, especially as the black community, tend to focus on the other black communities because like people, and by like people, I mean that we will congregate in the same groups based on skin color. Like it is just the natural order of things. The white people probably pay attention to white immigrants. Indian people in South Africa, Indian citizens in South Africa with an Indian background, they probably pay attention to Indian immigrants. People from India, maybe people from, what's the country next to India? Is it Palestine? Something like that. They will pay attention to those people. But there's many kinds of immigrants in South Africa. We've got a Chinatown and a China Mall here. And if you're from anywhere in the world, you know there's always a China Mall or a Chinatown. And we've got that here. Most of the shop owners there are Asians, Japanese, Koreans, Chinese. I get to interact with these people myself as well because, I am a hustler, right? So these people get here and they get more successful because they apply themselves even more, okay? And in a country like South Africa, our government leads the country in a sense that makes people depend on them. And it works for them for their political reasons. And this working for them for their political reasons and political ambitions doesn't work for the nation and for the people because many people find themselves in a place where they can't strive and work as hard as people who are immigrants from other countries, people who know worse poverty than South Africans know. South Africans know poverty, and there's people who know some extreme forms of poverty in the country, but a lot of the people who are in poverty here in South Africa, they have not experienced it like a country like, let's say, Sudan, where it is war-ravaged. It's ran by criminals, it's ran by dictators, and it's ran by rebels. There's always a bullet ready to hit you at any point in time, and you have to hustle in that kind of country. When you move to a country like South Africa, where the freedoms are really there, because when I talk to people from these countries where there's a lot of war and stuff like that, what they have experienced in their countries, when they come here and they experience something from the police that we would think is an injustice, to them seems gentle because the police and the soldiers in their own countries do worse. They don't just hit you, beat you up a little bit and take a bribe from you. They'll kill you. They kill you. They kill your whole family. Okay? And because of that, obviously, when they get to South Africa, they will think that South Africa is a better place to be and they will do better. These people tend to get richer when they get to the countries, okay? So before I do continue, I want to talk about why I haven't been posting in so long, why I haven't been creating content in so long. I have finally started my FMCG products business. And the first product that I am pushing is a washing powder. It's called Skoon washing powder or Skoon washing powder. It depends on how you pronounce it. I'm black. Most of us say Skoon here in South Africa. Skoon is in Afrikaans words for clean. So this is clean washing powder if you read it in Afrikaans. If you read it in Sepedi, so Skoon washing powder, at the moment I only have one product, which is the 1 kg, and obviously we'll be growing it into other products. We'll be growing it into other sizes as well. And by other products, obviously I mean dishwashing liquid, I also mean creamer, I also mean pine gel, things like that. It'll just depend on the direction that I decide to take and the team that I will be building in future. But at the moment, we've got washing powder and it comes in a 1 kg only. I sell it for 32 Rand, and to shop owners and people that are willing to be distributors, I sell it for 27 Rand. So the profit margin for this as a person who sells it is really high. You get to make 5 Rand profit each time you sell this. It's Skoon washing powder. I've been busy with this for a while. The reasoning for the packaging is, if I made this clear packaging with just a sticker, the packaging becomes very affordable, and with it being very affordable, I can also sell it at a very affordable pricing, because I'm starting to believe that products like this, washing powder, Skoon washing powder, they're no longer targeting poor people and people who are underprivileged, who don't have as much money as other people. And being from a country like South Africa, I've experienced poverty myself, and I know other people who are experiencing it, and I see people all the time. Washing powder has gotten very expensive, so by making the packaging very cheap, as affordable as I can make it, it's cheap, but it's good quality packaging. You can drop this and the plastic is not going to burst. It's good packaging, but it is cheap. By making it cheap, I'm able to sell the product for cheaper. And that is the reasoning behind it. And it doesn't look visually appealing. It's not aesthetically appealing, but it's not going to go into major retailers. I've decided that this is not going to go into your Checkers, ShopRite, Spar. Maybe it can go into wholesalers, but it's mostly going to be sold in tuck shops. if you're watching this from another country, a tuck shop is a small retail store. The kinds of retail stores that are owned by Somalians, Indians, the Arabs, those kind of small retail stores, they are everywhere in the world. I watch American movies. I see Arabs running shops. I see Arabs running shops in Britain and stuff like that. The other reason I haven't been creating content and posting content in a long time is because right after I got done with this, I got sick. I haven't fully recovered yet, but I decided let me just shoot either way. Because what is the point of me saying I have a YouTube channel and I am not uploading content onto this YouTube channel, and I want to one day make money out of this YouTube channel and I am not posting content on it? So I decided, look, I haven't recovered, but let me just record anyway and see how it goes and see how I do and how I sound. So there you have it. This is why I haven't been posting in such a long time. So as we were talking about the fact that many of the immigrants come to South Africa to seek better opportunities and they get richer when they get here, there are other countries that can possibly replace South Africa. And these countries are countries such as Nigeria, as it is developing, and if the leadership becomes better there, we might see a mass movement of Nigerians going back to Nigeria, because there's a lot of wealth in Nigeria, for example. There's countries like Kenya, there's countries like Rwanda here in Africa. And shout out to all my African people and the people in the African diaspora. If you come from any of these countries and you've been paying attention to your country, you may realize that these countries are also developing. South Africa was already developed after it gained its independence from apartheid. And it was developed mainly because of apartheid, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you want to look at it. It is so developed because the Afrikaners and the white people that ran the country before built infrastructure. Although infrastructure was not built for the majority of the country, which the majority is the black people, the colored people of the country. Colored people, for those who may be wondering, is just another form of black people here in South Africa that we have decided to call colored, because they are either mixed or they are the Khoisan. I know Khoisan is called something different, but out of memory right now, I can't remember. The Afrikaners and the white people built the infrastructure, not for everyone. And when South Africa gained independence, the infrastructure was already there. Now, this infrastructure is falling apart, and mainly because of our fucking politicians, our stupid ass, useless politicians, turning the country into a welfare state, trying to take infrastructure that was built for probably 10% of the population of the country and now try to give it to 100% of the population, which is obviously going to make the infrastructure suffer. And when it comes to building new infrastructure, they're not that great. They are horrible. Everything that they build breaks down. Everything that they have to build doesn't get finished because they steal money. They siphon money into their own pockets. We've got things like Starlink by Elon Musk that was supposed to come to South Africa, but it didn't come to South Africa because the government of South Africa wants to claim that in order for Starlink to operate in South Africa, it has to be owned by 30% of previously underprivileged people of the country. That is bullshit. That is bullshit. We all know that the only reason they are saying that is because they want to eat. It's bullshit them saying that they want it to be owned by 30% of underprivileged or previously underprivileged South Africans. It's all bullshit. They want to just have a way to chow Elon Musk's money through Starlink here in South Africa. There is no way that they are going to actually share that money with the people of South Africa, because if they were really going to do that, we should have seen it in the last 30 years after ANC took over as the government of the country. We should have seen in the way that they run the country that they really do care about people who are underprivileged in the country. But that's just not how it is. South Africa is one of the most unequal countries in the world, if not the most unequal country in the world, between the poor and the rich. The rich are super, super rich and they keep getting richer. The poor are super poor and they keep on getting poorer and more dependent on the ANC and its government programs. So we know that it's bullshit when they say that they want this to be owned by 30% of the previously underprivileged South Africans. This is part of the reasons that there are countries that can replace South Africa. and it can happen soon. Another reason is that they are getting into things that, oops, sorry. We are getting into things that I'm not sure, looking at it as a civilian, we should be getting involved in. Okay? And countries like America, countries like Britain, Australia, not so sure with Australia, but definitely with America, when they have financial interests in a country and that country gains a bit too much independence, they are going to, quote unquote, go to save that country, give that country democracy. And the reason they do that is so that when they, or the reason they say that rather, is so that when they invade that country, bomb that country, they are justified in what they are doing. Justified because they've said that they're doing it for the greater good and they're doing it for the democracy of their country. Like, what is America doing in Libya trying to introduce democracy in Libya when Libya has nothing to do with America? Like, let the country be a sovereign country, right? But they're not going to do that because they have financial interests and the infrastructure, or rather the wealth of that country benefit America. And you are out of your damn mind, as you are ignorant and stupid, to think that America wouldn't bomb South Africa if they realize that they are losing the grip of a little bit of the power that they have in the country, whatever it may be. You are out of your mind to think and believe that they wouldn't bomb the country under the guise of democracy because they are losing the power that they have in the country. Okay? This is one of the reasons that there are countries that could possibly replace South Africa. The other reasons, and most of the reasons, unfortunately, are very linked to our politics and our politicians. It doesn't matter who the leader is. I remember having conversations when Ramaphosa replaced Jacob Zuma with a lady, I forget her name, but that time we were talking over WhatsApp, and she was saying that Ramaphosa is going to be a better leader. And I said, bullshit. He's a politician under the ANC. Any politician under the ANC is bullshit. All of them. I don't care. All of them. Well, lo and behold, we are in 2023, more than 5 years later, and he has proven himself to be just as shitty, if not the worst. So the country is really going into shambles. We've got load shedding now. We got rolling blackouts, and we might have a total shutdown. We don't know. And some people from other countries, example Zimbabwe, when they experience what we are experiencing in South Africa right now, it looks very familiar to them, and they know exactly where South Africa is going. So they try as much as they possibly can to gain as much wealth as they can so that they can leave this country when they can. Some people do it through the right means. A lot of people also do it through the wrong means of doing it. So South Africa will be replaced by other countries very soon. Very soon. And countries like the USA, the British, and all of that, they hate the prosperity of African countries. They hate countries like this having too much independence because it takes away from their own pocket. Like, Africa is... You think that the war in Sudan was not funded by Europeans or by America, by France or by Italy or one of these countries? You think that Thomas Sankara in Burundi was killed by himself or by his own people? No. Thomas Sankara wanted the country's wealth to benefit the people of Burundi. And the moment you want to do that as an African leader and as a president or prime minister of a country, you are taking away too much money from the private corporate monsters, whatever you want to call them, and these countries. You are taking too much money out of their pockets. They are okay with giving away money to you and your circle of friends and your circle of other political leaders because that is cheaper. The moment you want to benefit people of the country, it means that the millions that they are giving to you have to quadruple or even more, because they're no longer just giving millions to you. They're giving millions of dollars or pounds to you and to your people. And as the money trickles down to everyone in the country, it means that they are losing money. And they're not willing to do that. They're not, oh, this coffee is cold now. I don't want it anymore. they're not looking to benefit the whole country. They are looking to benefit themselves, and in order to benefit themselves, they have to ensure that whomever is the leader in that country, dictator or not, gets the financial benefits that he or she, mostly he's obviously, needs or wants so that they can stay in that power. And that's just how it is, that's just how it is. Yeah, with those topics, I am kind of done. And guys, don't forget, I got spoon washing powder out here. Got spoon washing powder. This video was not as long as I expected it to be, but this is the first one, and I'm not sure how many times I'll be uploading in a week, or if it will be bi-weekly, or if it will be weekly, daily. I don't know. I'm really busy with other things outside of spoon washing powder. I'm in my studio here. It's a tattoo studio that I also want to use one of the space as a podcast studio for other podcasters. So I'm quite occupied, and I do everything by myself at the moment. So it is a bit difficult, but I'm looking for help, definitely looking for help. And if you are one of the people that wants to help the channel, man, feel free to donate, or should I call it donations? I don't know if I should call it donations, but give to the channel as much as you think it is worth, based on the value that you get from the channel, based on the value that you get from the topics that we talk about. And if you are somebody from other African countries, you are from Kenya, Sudan, you are from Libya, you are from Egypt, I don't care, you are in DRC, Nigeria, and you want to come to South Africa legally, that is, and build a life here, trust me, it is still very, very possible. As much as things are getting bad here, it is still very possible for you to come here and get wealthy. And if it was not possible for people to come here and get wealthy, they wouldn't be coming here. Like, there's still people coming in their droves here. You could be one of them too. But ensure that when you come to the country, man, you don't add on to the problems of the country, but you are more than welcome to come here. By the way, when I said I want to work with the Somalians, Ethiopians, and the Arabs in the tuck shops, their retail spaces, it's because of my brand, yo. If you want to support this brand, it's only 32 Rand. Unfortunately, if you buy it and you're not very close to me, shipping is going to make it cost a lot more. But if you want to buy it for the sake of supporting the channel, it's much appreciated. And I am currently working on getting this into as many local tuck shops as possible. Soon it will be in the entire country. And I think as I get that busy, I might post a bit less on YouTube unless I have help. Anyway, you are much appreciated. Like and subscribe. Share this video with friends. I will see you in the next one.